What's up, Still Mace Warriors? Coach Victoria Islas, and today we have Still Mace Valkyrie, also known as Brandee Owens. You can check her out on Instagram, and like always, I do a little quick summary of the podcast before we get started. So who is Still Mace Valkyrie? Who is Brandee Owens? She's from Canada, and I was not aware of this, but she started off with Zach. I have had a previous episode with him before. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll make sure to add like a little link here somewhere on the YouTube video so that you can go check it out, and I'll also add in the description below. If you're listening to this in audio format, make sure to go check it out at stillmacewarrior.com. So she started off with Zach, and then she started her own thing afterwards. So that was really interesting to hear, and it was kind of an honor to know that they're somehow interconnected, because Zach is a really cool dude, and I obviously, after this podcast, she became like my best friend from a distance. She doesn't know this, but I know this. That's how I felt. But yeah, I felt like I really connected with her. She is awesome. I also recommend you go check out her Instagram, because she has some crazy cool Viking looking pictures. She's really raw and very authentic woman in the Still Mace community. So as always, I'm super excited to have Still Mace women on the podcast, because we don't have enough women coaches, I feel like. So far I've had Still Mace Gypsy, I've had Valerie Pawlowski, I've had Kim Fox. I'm sorry if I forgot any of my other ladies. Let me think. I've had Summer Huntington. There we go. But I've had quite a few. So if you guys know of any women in the Mace community, let me know. I would love to have them on my podcast for season 3. I'm actually thinking about taking a little mini break after 2 episodes and finishing season 2 with the next 2 episodes. So I'm just putting that out there, and then season 3 will start up again, probably most likely November, December time. So anyways, but I just wanted to throw it out and let you guys know. But yeah, so Still Mace Valkyrie, guys, she has an awesome story, and she has an awesome studio in Canada that I think you should go check out if you are in her area. And I'll make sure to add all of that information in the description below as well. And I also want to note that we talked a lot about Still Mace business. Like, well, I don't want to call it business, but how is it that she's filling up a whole room of people in her studio? That's really interesting. I don't think I've talked to anyone about how to acquire clients and how to sell the mace. So we really go into that, which makes this podcast episode like one of my most treasured ones if you're a coach. And one of my treasured ones, because I even took some things out of this podcast to heart. So thank you so much for sharing what you did, Brandee. I really appreciate you being on this podcast, and I hope that if you're listening to it and you enjoyed it, make sure that you make sure that you comment, make sure that you share this podcast with your friends. That's how the Still Mace community would grow. That's how the Still Mace Warrior podcast would grow. So guys, go do that, and you can also donate online through my website, stillmacewarrior.com/donate, and you can buy some awesome Still Mace apparel over at stillmacewarrior.com/store. All right, may the universe always flow with you. I'm out. What's up, Still Mace Warriors? Today, I finally have another woman warrior on the podcast. It's been quite a few episodes. I think the last one I had was with actually, I was just talking to you about it with Valerie and Frank. So that was my last woman on the podcast. And I've been trying to get more on here. If you guys are listening, obviously, hit me up. Let me know if you know of any awesome women warriors out there, and we'll get them on here. But today I'm so excited and honored to have this woman warrior specifically. I've been eyeing her for a long time. Her name is Brandee Owens, right? Right?
That's right. Good job.
And she's known as Still Mace Valkyrie, and her banner's in the back. Right there. Yep. So, yeah, I just been wanting to get her on here, and I'm really excited. So tell us about your story in fitness. And I mean, everyone has like this really cool background, and I'm not really sure about yours, so I'm really excited. So what's your story in fitness, and kind of like what led you to the Still Mace?
Well, my fitness story, basic childhood, baseball, ringette. Do you guys have ringette there?
Uh-uh.
Like it's like hockey, but the blade of the stick is cut off, and you just use a straight stick in a ring. Anyways, I'll show you sometime.
No, that sounds so cool though.
Yeah, typical that golf, a few school sporting things. Was never really excelled as an athlete by any means, but that came from a lot of lack of confidence, etc. Was working out at a gym here in town, Readiness Fitness, and met Zach Frankenlegs.
Yes, I was just gonna ask if you knew Zach because I swore I saw you guys together before. So that's
yes, he's the one that actually first put the mace in my hands. He had gone away. He was a trainer at a gym I was attending as a client at the time, and he came back with this mace, and I was training for a Spartan race. So he put that in my hands, and I was like, "What in the hell is this thing?" And then just kind of watched him over the next few weeks playing with it, and I just became addicted. So then he started a little warrior woman class, and from then on it's just history.
Right. So I think for those of you who don't know who Zach is, there's a previous podcast episode with him, but from his story, he started with just women, right?
That's right. Yes.
Which is really...
it started with a group of, I don't know if there were 6 or 8. It feels like an eternity ago, so I can't remember exactly how many of us were in there, but soon the boys were ready to come play, especially the Spartan racers, etc. So lots of husband-wife duos going on, or boyfriend-girlfriend, son-daughter, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, he started a good thing.
So that's really cool to know that you were part of that group and that you became like this amazing, I look at you and I'm like, she's fucking Viking, like 100. Oh. So like, I really want to talk about your name. Like, why'd you go with Valkyrie? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
I really wanted warrior.
Yeah.
And then I looked and I'm like, who is this Victoria chick? She's got Steel Mace Warrior. Actually, I had done a photo shoot for a long time ago, just a bunch of us girls going out one night, and my nephew, I think I maybe had a mohawk or something, and my nephew said, "Oh, my Valkyrie aunt," and I was like, ooh. And just kind of sat on that. And then when the mace all started happening and I was getting my certifications, I was like, oh, I better nail this one down quickly. And I just love everything about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're amazing at it too. Now, what do you think got you addicted to the Steel Mace? What was
Honestly, the fact that it was so new. Like, there wasn't 40 people standing next to me in the gym. Sounds so bad, but that I had to compare myself to, right? Yeah. It was like, I felt like, holy shit, I'm worthy of this thing, right? I don't have a whole bunch of people to compare myself to and feel crappy about my shortcomings or not. And yeah, that's really how it started. It was the addiction of the new. The fact that your mind can't be anywhere but there. You can't think about the fight you had with your friend or the laundry or your shitty hair or whatever needs to be done at home, right? You just have to kind of concentrate on the task at hand. And the fact that it's new. I mean, being able to put that in someone's hands and then just see that light kind of go on in their eyes, right? It's just so addicting.
Yeah, I think that's what's unique about the mace. I mean, when I picked it up, I was grieving. So that's definitely like something for me. It kind of shut out all of that I was feeling, and it allowed me to, I guess it allowed me to heal. I did a lot of things to do that, but the mace really was kind of like, you have to focus when you're using this tool, like 100.
Absolutely. There's times where I've used it to heal, and then there's sometimes I pick that mace up and it just frustrates the shit out of me. So I gotta find another way to heal sometimes, right? There's just, it's the day. It just, you just never know how that day is gonna go. And sometimes you put a little too much pressure on yourself. And then my favorite days are just in the backyard, just picking it up because a good song comes on and just flowing.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with the frustration. There are days like that. I think I posted something like that a couple of weeks ago, and I got quite a lot of responses saying, yeah, I get pretty fucking frustrated with the mace from time to time, and it happens often. So it's cool to hear someone with your skill level even, talk about something like that.
Well, thank you. I don't foresee myself or look at myself like I have a much skill level, above anybody else, but I could definitely say the same for you. I would sure love to swing the mace with you someday.
Yeah, that'd be so dope. So let's continue on with your mace story. Like, where are you at now? Like, how are you doing? Like, is mace popular in your area?
It's getting there. I think I have about I have a student page. There's 50 students on that page. So at one time they were all coming to me for mace training. there's probably about 8 of them, sorry, that aren't religiously coming consistently, that I just kind of touch base with, like, hey, you're not going to get better if you're not here.
Yeah,
But summer, right? So I have about 40 committed students, and then I have 3 workshops coming up with 8 in each. So there'll be another 20 or so that I hope kind of jump on board with us. Yeah. So I have still Mace Valkyrie here, SMV Academy, and then Franken Legs runs his Warrior Flow, which is just a few blocks from me, actually.
Oh.
It's not a very big city, but to be just a couple blocks from each other is kind of ironic. But yeah, I think that we're both exactly where we want to be. Not too busy that you can't keep everybody happy, but we're not hurting for students by any means.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I had no idea you guys were in the same city.
Oh yeah, just blocks from each other. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like 600 feet from his the gym he teaches kettlebells in, so we're literally, I could throw a rock at him from here.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's so cool.
That's like, I don't know. I'd be happy about that if I was around you, if Zach was around you, you know. That's cool.
I don't get to train with him too much anymore, unfortunately, because of us going our separate ways, so to speak. But hopefully that changes in the future.
Yeah, you guys are both awesome. So yeah, I personally been finding it hard to find clients. So it's actually really interesting to hear that you have around 50 people who are interested in this. Like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm actually, I can put about 8 at a time in my studio. And I'm just recently was looking at maybe getting a bigger studio so I could get, 12 or 15 in at once instead of doing 2 classes, just do one larger one, right? So we'll get there, but you just never know. You bite all this off and then there's not as much interest anymore. But I can't imagine that happening with Steel Mace. I just can't imagine people. I do 1 workshop and then 2 days later, 3 people. My friend was in your workshop last week. How do we get in? There's 4 of us that are interested. Wow.
Yeah.
It just, it's just like that word of mouth thing. There's nothing better, right?
Yeah. And I was just going to ask you that. I'm like, how do you get them in there? Like, just for someone like barely getting into training Steel Mace, it's something so new. What would you recommend, like getting people in through the doors? It's just for you, it's been word of mouth, right?
Yes. Or lots of highlighting my students. So if I keep constantly putting videos of myself doing maybe higher level stuff, I think a lot of people are going to look at that and go, well, maybe in a couple of years when I'm a little bit better, I'll go to Valkyrie, right? I highlight my students, even if it was a day 1. This is what your swings might look like at day 1. And then pan over to 2 years, right? Everybody starts somewhere. Yeah. It's just, I find like ladies 40 and over are the ones that seem to flock to me, where they're just comfortable with who they are. They're not worried about comparing themselves to anybody. And they're just here for just that camaraderie, right? Just to belong to something that's so kick-ass, right?
Right.
And then from that, they start, the next week they come and they've shaved a little bit of their head. It's just a little bit, right? Or 2 of them. My daughter wants to be a Valkyrie for Halloween this year because of your photo. I was like, look, this is just crazy how you can put so much out there so organically or innocently.
Shaving the head thing, though. Have you noticed that? I feel like every lady getting into like Steel Mace nowadays are like, I'm going to shave my head. Like,
right? Yeah. That goes back to Franken Legs for me. There was so many ladies at the gym that I was a member at shaving their heads, and I was like, this is pretty empowering.
You think it's
2 years ago, I didn't even have a tattoo on my arm, so it's funny what Steel Mace does. Yeah. Again, it's just like, I don't know if I turned 40. I don't know if it's just owning who you are and not giving a shit anymore, right? I recently had a little reading done by a spiritual medium I've gone to a few times since my parents passed away. It really has helped me, kind of connect or just hear like, good job from the other side kind of thing. And one thing that she kept saying that my dad touched on was like, you are being you. Sorry. Just gets emotional, right? When you talk about your dad.
Yeah, I'm over here drinking green tea, like, okay.
Yeah, I know. As soon as you took that sip, I was like, shit. Yeah, so it's just that whole owning who you are, right? I mean, you can fake it and then have these people surround you that aren't good for you. Or you can own who you are and maybe you're alone. Or maybe there's one other person that connects with you, but that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
It's just so like empowering, just being you. And having a daughter that I can be like, this just be you, because you're pretty kick-ass the way you are.
That's so awesome. Oh, that's so cool to hear that from you. I mean, it's been kind of lonely for me over here. So it's pretty cool that we're touching base on that. I have a couple people interested. That's why when I hear 50 or I even see Zach stuff like over there, I'm like, is it a community thing or what the heck? But either way, like whatever, I'm still picking up the mace and I push through it. But I mean, what else?
And that's how I feel too. Like, as much as I love the mace community and the social media attention and all that, I'm still going to do this. Yeah. Regardless, right? And you're going to still do what you're doing regardless if you have 1,000 followers or 5. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So maybe some online training would be awesome. Do you do online training?
Yeah, that's where I'm heading.
That's
where I'm heading. That's definitely the route, because I've noticed that, there's a lot of, I think you go on Instagram and we're all bunched up and it makes it look bigger than it is. But then you're in your city and then it's like no one knows about it. At least
that's right.
Me. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to work through do something else to make it work in career-wise or financially or whatever,
Yeah, it's like, I feel like this steel mace thing is meant to be, because again, it's just happened so slowly. And I know I used this word before, but organically or authentically. I haven't bent over my, backwards trying to get students. In fact, I'm at the point where it's like, we need this. I wanted 30 committed students and that was it. Right. And so here we are growing, which is amazing. I'm going to keep that fire going, but not trying. Yeah. It's so weird when you just, everything is just falling into place, just effortlessly. Right. Or is it because you love it? It feels like no effort. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know which one it is.
I think that sounds beautiful. And I think that's what I'm trying to lean for too. I'm not trying to rush the process, because I think sometimes when you push things don't go so well either.
And people can feel like, oh man, she's really pushing this. I don't know. Yeah.
So
taking your mace down to the local park with a little sign that says what you're doing. Absolutely. I had last weekend, a flow class at our city park, and 30 people probably came up to me just while I'm pulling the maces out of my car. Like, awesome. Happened to have some business cards on me, right? Awesome. Or 2 people have messaged me since then, right? A guy from Poland.
Wow.
It's just weird. It's just like, put your mace down and people are going to look at you like, either you're crazy or they're interested, right?
Yeah, or they're scared of you because you have shaved sides and a weapon in your hand.
In my mom core, yeah.
Never mind. No, but it's hard to work at parks here because it's Arizona. So right now in the summer, it's like so fucking hot.
Oh.
Like, I think everyone's waiting for the winter time. We're just waiting.
And,
so that's kind of like the only sucky part here. Our weather is like crazy, and then it takes forever to cool down too. But
I was at a Labor Day football game this weekend. I don't go to football ever. We have CFL here in Canada, and I was watching the cheerleaders for our home team is the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And I was just like, oh, I have got to do one flow with these girls. They have got to do a halftime mace show. I think it would just be the most kick-ass thing. So that's my next goal, is to hook up with one of the cheerleaders. And
dang, that'd be so cool.
Right?
Well, you better like film it and that shit on. I want to see.
Right?
I'm sure listeners are gonna want to fucking see.
Yeah.
So I also want to talk about those photos, those recent photos. I mean, they're not that recent, but when they came out, I was like, oh my God, she's beautiful and she's a fucking warrior. Like, I was so like,
I owe that to the makeup and camera crew.
Well, whatever. They did a fantastic job. Like, tell me about how that photo shoot went, and like, what was the purpose of that? Like,
that was supposed to be, I had that planned for over a year, and it just kept pushed off, whether it was weather or I was sick, photographer sick, whatever was going on. And it had started, I do sunless tanning, so spray tanning. So I was kind of going to do that, and my custom logoed shirts, do a photo shoot like of models, being like, this is the tan, this is our athletic wears, yada, yada, yada. And then I slowly kind of phased that out, and then still had this booking for this photo shoot. So she's like, well, what do you want? I'm like, just art, just something to hang up in my studio or whatever. I just needed I was a shit fucking month. I'm just going to be honest. And I just needed to feel good, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great time. We just headed out of the city, and 2 hours later, I was like, wow. Yeah. And she actually just came to my last workshop, the photographer, and she's picked up that mace, and I just stood there like, holy shit, how does this woman know how to swing this mace? So amazing. So after the workshop, she's like, I've been watching you guys for 2 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was, you know, in her head, she's doing it.
Yeah.
She just needed to pick it up, and she's just kicking ass already. So I'm happy to have her.
Yeah, I think that's really cool when someone's like real natural at mace. It's like they're
Right.
meant to, like, wait, the mace chose them, right?
Right.
It's really impressive when I see stuff like that.
Totally. Or when you see somebody so awkward and like uncoordinated, and then 2 weeks later they're swinging just beautifully.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
It's definitely I think with mace, correct? I mean, let me know what you think. I think it's definitely really mind-based. Like, it's a mental thing too, you know, like
Absolutely.
the mind-body connection. So I definitely believe if you have like a good trainer, good coach, I think that you can look amazing.
It's that trusting. I feel like the ladies more so. Actually, the men do seem to helicopter swing the muscle hell out of it, but it's that letting go. Yeah. Just like that let go, that release of the fear. It's very hard, but once they let go, you see that look on their eyes. It's like, that's so much easier.
Yeah. I just posted an Instagram post where it's like 2 kids on a roller coaster. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
We all know we look like that with our first swing, like, especially if you didn't have a coach or a trainer. Like, I know I look like that. And that's what I think I purchased an ONNIT 7-pound mace. Wow. And that was heavy to me.
Right.
At the point when I first swung a mace.
Is that ONNIT 7-pound mace? Is the handle the same length as maybe like an Apollo, or is it shorter?
You know what? That's a good question. When I went to the KIP certification last year, someone else had an ONNIT 7-pound mace, and I had brought mine. I bought my ONNIT mace like years ago. So they started to manufacture them a little different. So mine is actually short, and the handle's a lot thinner than their actual 10-pound mace.
Like an incline, okay.
But I have no idea if the manufacturing process changed, because I saw a 7-pounder at that workshop and it looked different. So I think I have one of those original ones. So I'm really happy about that.
Special, yeah. Yes, I would love a 7-pound long-handled one, but we'll get there.
Yeah. I wonder if it has to do with like weight. You know, I'm assuming maybe if the handle gets longer, the weight changes, or I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know anything about manufacturing. Everyone's always asking me like, "Where's the weight at?" I'm like, "Well, possibly at the top."
In the head.
I don't know. I don't know about those things. You want to hit up on it or set for set.
Is you have a Primal Flow, the wooden?
Yes, I do. Have a
you love it?
Flow. Yes, I'm actually right now. Yeah. It's. Do you have one yet or no?
I don't.
No, you got to get yourself one.
I know. I would like to have 10. I would love to have one for each of my students, just for busting out new tricks, right?
Yes, do it. They're super light. I mean, it feels like a feather. To be honest. But it's so good. I mean, I use it because I can't do like one-hand swings or anything like that. It's too rough on my shoulders. So it allows me to still get that movement in, you know, without having so much weight. So it's cool for skill set, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously he uses them for physical therapy. So it shows you a little bit of what those maces are used for. But yeah, I think you should get yourself one. They're awesome.
I think I should too. It helps when I have the new students in here. I do have a 5-pound mace, but the little handle's this long. So you get into an archer. It's ridiculous.
Is it the incline ones?
No, these are some other weird, I don't even actually know the name.
Oh, okay. Because I bought an incline 5-pound mace and it was like a baby mace. I was like,
it's like a mascara one.
Dude, I was like, this is so funny. Like, I'm like, okay, this is definitely for a kid's class. Like, this is like tiny. I've never seen one before, but I still have it. I'm like, whatever.
Oh yeah, my kids, I had a little kids workshop not too long ago. I have 5 of the 5-pound maces, so it was nice. And then when I want to teach my ladies single swing, those 5 pounders are perfect to get the elbow motion going, right? So yeah.
So tell me, what's your favorite still mace movement or exercise? And I know this is always hard for people to answer, but I still ask it.
I love a good old 10 and 2. Yeah, I love swings. I'm not saying that I don't love flow. Like I love the old diamond flow, there's so many parts of flow that I love. So many cool little coin toss and all that kind of stuff. But I just like some good tunes and bust out some heavy 10 and 2s, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Well,
Loving the flow, love the flow, but two totally different, right?
yeah,
Two
absolutely.
totally different things. And I love that I can do both. I don't have to be only loyal to one, right?
Yeah, yeah, Mace Unity, throwing it out there. No, but yeah, I've been wanting to learn flow. I still haven't been able to purchase the Leo Savage stuff, but I will one day. But I love
Yes.
it. Like even when I watch the YouTube videos and the Instagram videos. I watch Zach and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I've been learning flow. But yeah, I mean, it is very different. Flow is very different than the traditional stuff. Mace, Unity, flow, and traditional are different, but they're both really awesome to do. Can we agree on that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're both.
Absolutely. I'm not here to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't be doing. You just find what works for you and attack it.
Yeah, yeah, I love all of it. I'm neutral. Like I try to learn from everyone. So far, I've learned from what fits my budget. But as soon as my budget grows, like beware, I'm going to like purchase anything and everything Mace related. I'm
I love that.
Mace. I should have been called Still Mace Junkie.
That's right.
Instead of Still Mace Warrior. That should have been my Instagram because I'm fucking Still Mace Junkie.
Good. What a great thing to be a junkie.
Right?
Like what a great thing to be addicted to, right?
Yeah, I'm totally addicted to it. All right. So I have two more questions just to keep it short. This one I have to ask. I noticed that you've actually sanded your maces and like created some custom ones. Can we go into that and kind of like go into like how you do it? Because I'm sure people have been dying to learn.
Gasket remover. So
Okay.
you spray the head with gasket remover, let it sit like 15 minutes, and then all that the black paint just peels off like latex, like a balloon. So then it's left this beautiful metal silver. Then I prime that. If I'm using dark colors, I'll prime it with black spray paint. If I'm using a lighter color, I'll prime it with white.
Okay.
And then I do that hydro dipping. So either just YouTube hydro dip, or you just keep spraying it into that bucket of lukewarm water and then just dip it in. And it kind of, I love it because it makes its own design. There's no pressure on me. It's whatever it comes out, that was on the paint's, agenda.
Yeah.
None of it is I love it. So mine have been in my car I didn't have a gym for a month or so. So they just kind of banged around and are all chipped off. So I'll redo them all and I'll video it and send it to you. Well, there should be some videos on my Instagram. Yeah, well, good.
Yeah, I'm glad. Now you can get on that. Just kidding. No, yeah, I wanted to ask about that because it looks so beautiful. How it looks all like marbled and stuff.
Yeah, like psychedelic and marbled. Yeah. Good description. Yeah.
Yeah, no, psychedelic's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, psychedelic maces. Yeah, so if you guys want to learn how to do some psychedelic painting, there you go. Right.
I'll have to get on that glow paint.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about, or you mentioned some workshops? You mentioned some.
Yes, I have September 7th, September 17th, and October 7th, all sold out. They sell out in 48 hours. I don't understand how fast this goes, but I'm so thankful. A lot of it is what you would learn maybe at a Still Mace Flow workshop with the foundations and your different positions with the mace, and then the very end we kind of play on this with the swing, and then we go over another. Usually it's been the Still Mace Flow masterclass flow, but I've been working on a few of my own flows that I'm trying to throw in there as well, just giving them basically a good taste of what they would get when they come to a class, and then so that they walk in knowing what a side lunge is. They're not just it's just like that shock, right? They feel like they're pretty set up when they come to that first class. And then I find like getting them into the workshop, you have to do the workshop before you come to a class. Mm-hmm. So that just keeps it fair to my students that are current. I'm not spending all my time on a new person, right? It's kind of delegated evenly. Sometimes I'll partner them up with a veteran. But yeah, it just keeps everybody kind of on the same page and less anxiety coming into class. Right?
Yeah, okay.
And then if they have a little bit of investment for that hour and a half, they're going to want to come back and get more out of their money, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a really interesting thing to put out there. I hope that people listening find that helpful, because I've never really thought about that. Strangely, smart. You're a smart person.
Right. Yeah. 5 of your buddies, and then share that. I share it with 5 of theirs. The next thing you know, you've got a full workshop.
That's awesome, man. This
Yeah.
is definitely a different kind of podcast. I really loved talking to you. Now, can people train with you online? Because you did mention that a little bit. Or do you have?
I do not have online set up yet. I don't even have like Wi-Fi in my building.
Oh, is that why the phone's a little funky right now? That explains it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's on. This building's 115 years old. So I'm going to get on some wireless. It's called MiFi. And then I'm hoping, I have a couple people interested in BC and Calgary and stuff. So I was actually hoping to be able to link into a gym in another city, so that whole gym class can do what we're doing at the same time via internet.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to travel so far.
That's awesome.
Lots of things to do.
Lots of ideas you got. Yeah, I'm always full of ideas too.
Right. So and then it's
really cool to talk to someone else who's like at that same level. Like we're constantly like thinking about shit like that.
Thank you for everything that you do with this podcast and all your posts and just being you. I just love you. You're so loved. So many people know who you are. I don't even think you realize what a big force you are. So just keep it up. We love you.
Same to you. I mean, I think I feel the same way, like how you were talking about earlier. We were like, I don't really see it, but thanks, but I really appreciate it and I honor you. And I'm honored that you were on this podcast. And
I'm honored that you had me.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
I remember when Franken Legs was on, I was like telling the whole world, my coach is on a podcast. It's so, like, I just thought he was like a freaking celebrity, right? So I'm honored to be on.
I'm just kidding.
He is.
Yeah. We're all celebrities on Instagram. I mean,
that's right.
Come on. No,
that's
all
right.
Right. Well, thank you so much. May the universe always
thank you.
you.